we're going, if you want to have the comfort of a mat, feel free. Otherwise, we're going to start down on our hands and knees in what we call a cat-cow movement. So I'm going to come side on for this so that you can see. Basically, shoulders over our wrists, knees underneath our hips there, and we're going to press the ground away, tuck our chin in towards our chest, really rounding through that back as much as we can. Deep breath in here, and then we're slowly, as we're exhaling out, coming into the reverse of that position there. So our chin, we're lifting our eyes up towards the ceiling, trying to drop our belly button through to the roof, tilting that pelvis so that our bum is coming up towards the roof there, and moving through, back into our cat position, just like an angry cat arching their back. Coming slowly back into our cow. Why this one's called a cow, I don't know. Hello, Benji. You want a piece of the action? We're going to do 2 more of each position here. Really drawing that belly button into the spine there, pressing the palms of the hands through the floor. Back down, taking the gaze up to the ceiling. 1 more each way here. And back down. From here, we're just going to take a gentle rock through those wrists there, just rocking our shoulders forwards and back over those wrists. 2 more here for me. Good. Then we're going to march our wrists on the spot, just taking the palms of your hands, taking the pressure onto the front of your hands there, round behind you, just kind of rotating those wrists in all different directions there. Really releasing anything through those wrists. Alright, coming back onto all fours here now for me, with our belly buttons drawn into our core, and we're going to come into our bird dog. So opposite arm to leg is stretching out slowly as far as you can along the floor, and then lifting up to a nice horizontal line. We're trying to reach as far as we can here, not letting our pelvis tilt, and back down to our start position, and we're swapping sides here. So we're trying to stretch as far as you can along the floor before we lift up. Not looking to go into any extension into the back there, just a nice straight line. If you've got a tray of drinks on your back there, we should be aiming to keep that tray nice and balanced and nice and still, so we're not dropping any of our drinks. So we're swapping sides each time we come down here, guys. That's 2 each side. We're doing 10 each side, keeping that belly button drawn in. Roughly 10. I do struggle to count when I'm trying to talk to you at the same time, so apologies, but a few little extra reps won't hurt. This is number 4 on each side here. Really trying to stretch out as long as we can, keeping a nice neutral neck there. Number 5 will be halfway. Again, making sure that pelvis is staying nice and neutral so that we're not rolling into trying to lift just to get extra height in our lift. Just lifting as high as you can while you're maintaining this nice square pelvis. This is 7. Number 8. Two more on each side here, guys. Really try and make sure that that arm and leg that we're extending are nice and straight. Squeezing that quad. Last one each side here. Good. All right, coming back onto our all fours position, I'm just going to turn and face the camera this way so you can see a little bit better what we're going to do here. Coming into some thoracic opens. So one hand is going to go behind our ear for me. You're going to reach down, elbow towards the elbow, and then we're opening up, trying to get that elbow up towards the roof there. Reaching back down, elbow to elbow, and back up to the ceiling. Feeling a nice little ring out there through our thoracic spine, or the top part of our spine, kind of just between the shoulder blades. Back down, we're going to do 4 more on this side. Two more here, really drawing that core into that spine as well. Keeping that switched on. And last one here. Good, then we're going to come down, with the shoulders a little roll, and we're going to swap sides. So we're coming onto our other side now. Hand gently behind the ear there, elbow down towards the other elbow, and then rotating up towards the ceiling there. Really feeling that nice ring out through the upper back, keeping the core drawn in nice and tight. Four more from here. One last one here for me. Good. All right, we're staying on all fours. We're going to come into a controlled hip circle for me. So the aim here is to keep our pelvis nice and square again. We're not working into a range of movement that is going to shift our pelvis side to side. So we're going to draw a circle with one knee. We'll start with our right. So you're going to come out to the side, around in a circle, and back down. And then we're going to come back the opposite way that we came. Out to the side, back, and around. Now, if you can see that, you'll notice that I'm not trying to draw a great big circle which is moving my pelvis. It's nice and still through the pelvis, only as big a range as I can keep my pelvis nice and still. We're staying on the same side here for me, guys. And we're going to do 8 circles each direction. So we're coming backwards for the first one and then back forwards for the next one. I think this is number 4. It might be number 3. Maybe we better do an extra one just in case. Don't want to sell ourselves short. So we'll say this one's number 4. I do struggle to talk to you while I'm counting. So we've got 4 more from here. Belly button drawn in. Try and keep our shoulders relaxed away from our ears here so that we're not hunching into our upper body. Two more. Last one on this side. Good. Sitting up, just giving those wrists a little bit of shake out, and we're going to come into our other side for me. So on our left leg now, keeping that pelvis nice and still. We've got 8 circles, backwards and forwards is 1. This one will be 4, halfway. Good. All right, 4 more. You might find this easier on one side compared to the other. It's quite normal that, normal but not good, I should say, that we're a little imbalanced between our sides. You might find that your slightly stronger side actually has a little bit less mobility because the muscles are a bit tighter. I think we've got 2 more here. Again, talking, sorry. Extra mobility never killed anybody, so it's always a good thing to do that extra rep. Coming back for our last circle here. Good, all right. We're gonna take one leg out to the side now, straight out from where we are. We're gonna sit back into what's called an adductor rock. So as much as your mobility allows, you're pushing your bottom back towards your heel there, and then back up. So I'll come onto a slightly side view there for you so you can see. Leg out to the side there. We're sitting, pushing that bum back towards our heel there, stretching up into your adductor, which is the inside of your leg, your groin area, and then pushing back. We're going to do 8 rocks here each side. We've done 2. It's number 3. 4 more here for me. Just sitting back into a range that's a nice stretch for you, but not painful. And our last 2 this side. Good. Taking that leg back in, and we're going to swap onto our other side there. Legs straight out, keeping our ankle at a neutral angle there, so your toe should be facing forwards rather than away from you. Just helps get a little bit more of that, a stretch into that adductor. Gently sitting that heel, the bum back towards the heel there. We want to aim to be constantly moving through this movement here though, so we're not actually pausing too long in any one position. It's an active stretch and lengthen here as opposed to a static stretch. We've got 4 more on this side. And the last one. Good, all right, from here, let's bring that knee back in. We're going to come up to a high plank or a push-up position. So core's drawn in nice and tight here. From this position here, we're going to push back to our downward dog. So our heels are driving back towards the floor there, pushing the floor away through the hands there, and then coming back through into a strong push-up position. From our side view, if you can see, you're starting in our push-up position here, pressing the ground away, trying to get a nice stretch through those calves. Heels down towards the floor, and then back into our push-up position. That's 2. We're going to do 8. This is number 3. Pressing back through that stretch and slowly coming back forwards. Keeping that core drawn in the whole time. We've got 3 to go here. Again, feeling that stretch through the upper back there, also potentially a bit through your chest and the calves. We've got 1 more. We're going to hold this last one up in our downward dog position, and we're going to pedal out. I'll move so you can see my feet. Going to pedal out here through our calves. So 1 foot at a time, slowly driving that heel down towards the floor there, bending the other leg to focus on 1 leg at a time here, stretching out through those calf muscles. We'll do 4 more on each side. Actively moving through this movement here, not really quickly, but we're not holding any one position. Got 1 more on each side here. Good. Okie dokie. We're going to come over into what's called a 90-90 seated position now. So on your bottom, we want 90 degree with the front leg there, and the same with the back leg. So 90 degrees from your ankle to your knee and your hip. Sitting up nice and tall if you can, hands behind you. And we're trying to press those knees down into the ground for me. Now this will look different for everybody depending on your range of mobility. From here, trying to, without moving our hands, lifting our knees up and we're coming over to the other side. Trying to keep 90 degrees there in our leg position, up and over. Again, we're not going to hold any of these for too long. We're just moving slowly into that position, and then we're moving back. If you like an extra challenge and your mobility allows, you can lift the hands up, coming a little more into that core to support you through this position here. You might find that you shift very slightly, a bit of a bum shuffle going on. We're going to do 2 more in each direction. Try and drive both of those knees down towards the floor there, so we're coming into external and internal rotation with each hip. And we've got 1 more. We're going to hold in this position here. And now I want you to square yourself up with the front leg, drawing your belly button in, hands either side of your leg there, and we're going to float down. So we don't want to be arching from our back here. You're trying to keep your chest upright, or you float your belly button down towards your leg. Now you shouldn't have to go too far here to feel a really nice stretch in the outside of your bum of that front leg. Potentially a bit of a cramp in that back hip too, which I'm getting now. So again, we're not holding this position, we're moving slowly down into that stretch and then back up. And we're going to do 4 more on this side. So we're hinging from our hip here. Even if you've got really great mobility, great flexibility, you shouldn't have to fold down too far here to feel that stretch really nice and deep in the outside of your glute there. I think we've got 1 more. Good, and coming up, we're coming over to our other side, keeping that 90-degree position. And we've got 6 lowers on this side. This is my much tighter side. Hello, Benji. What are you doing, mate? You're going to sit right there, right in my way. Of course you are. Never work with children or animals, I say. I should have closed the door. Lowering down into that position. You think you're going to get cuddled, do you, buddy? Hey? 1 more this side for me. Good. Okay, still down on the floor. We're coming out into a nice, big, wide straddle position. As wide as is comfortable for you. We don't want to be working into too much range here that is going to be coming into damaging territory, so wherever that looks like for you. We're going to take a sweep. So starting, reaching towards your right leg, you're going to sweep right through the middle there, however that looks for you, to your left. Left hand's coming behind you, and you're going to push your hips up and reach behind you. Then we're coming back, and the reverse of that. Right hand on the ground, left arm is reaching up as you push the hips up. If that's too much, we bring the legs in a little closer there. Trying to keep that back nice and flat as you're reaching forward and through there, so that we're folding from the hips rather than through the back. 1 more each side here. Again, this one will look different for everybody, depending on your range of mobility. Good. Okay, coming over onto our stomachs now. We're going to come into some swimming arms. So, a little like our Superman, which is in this week's tempo workout. On our stomachs, the feet can stay on the ground for this one today. You're going to lift the hands up off the ground. We're going to rotate the hands back towards our bottoms, trying to touch our hands just above the top of our bum. Then we're coming back the opposite way and back down. And we're going to do 8 of these. So we're aiming to lift up, swim those arms behind you, and back to the front and down. We've got 6 to go. Lifting up here, keeping the core drawn in, working through that range of movement there with our shoulders. 5 more. Nice fluid movement here. Making sure you're coming down, resetting in between each one there, just to give the lower back a break. 3 to go, if my counting hasn't failed me. Up, swim those arms backwards, trying to keep the shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Down, and our last one here. And down. Now our next one is going to come into a scorpion roll. So in our leg position here on our tummy, we're going to bend one leg to 90 degrees so that the foot is up towards the floor. We're going to take our arms out to the side for us, and we're going to roll gently aiming to try and touch that foot on the ground on the opposite side there. Now again, this will look different for everybody. They're swapping sides, bending, rolling, aiming to get a nice little ring out there through the lower back. Back to our first side. Just going as far as you can. The chest will raise off the ground a little bit, obviously, as we're rolling towards the floor. The opposite chest or side of your chest is going to peel up off the floor to allow for some of that movement. I'm going to do one more each side here. And our last one, keeping the core drawn in as always. I sound like a little bit of a stuck record there, but it's so important in everything we're doing. All right, hands in beside you here, and we are gently pressing up as high as you can go. So here we want to be thinking about, I'm just going to move sideways so you can see, rather than trying to compress our spine, I want you to think about lengthening your spine, so reaching through the top of your head there as we're lengthening. Then we're going to push back into our child's pose. So if you need to separate the knees a little here, reaching our bottom back towards our heels there. And again, keeping it fluid, we're pushing back into more of our cobra position here. And back into our child's pose. Once more through each of these positions, bring those hands in a little closer, pushing the hips forwards into our cobra and back into our child's pose.